watching you.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. I'm Mercedes. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, as always, welcome back. In today's video, we are going to be discussing homeownership and all of the ins and outs that you need to know that you may not be familiar with when it comes to homeownership. I'm going to give you guys the tea. I've been a homeowner now for the last 2 years, going on 3. So I feel like I have a little skin in the game to give you guys some tips. So I feel like it's important to make this a video because a lot of people are always pushing homeownership, myself included, just because people rent or they choose to live in an apartment or whatever the case may be does not make what they're doing wrong. It does not make what they're doing any less than someone who is out buying a home. I just feel like we have this notation where you have to be a homeowner. You need to be a homeowner. If you're not a homeowner, you're not doing it right. And that's definitely not the case. As long as you have a roof over your head, that's all that matters. Okay, but we're going to talk about some homeownership advice. First thing first, you guys, property taxes. That's the biggest one. That's the biggest financial burden you'll probably experience during homeownership, because once your home is paid off, you still got these property taxes. But what people don't talk about is, what is property taxes? Why do you have to pay property taxes? Property taxes are just a sum of your community. It includes the schools in your community. It includes the things to do in your community. For example, let's say they're building a football stadium in your community. That includes money coming from your taxes. If they build that new stadium, if they give the high school football team a new stadium, if they build another school in another school, all of that plays a role into your property taxes. So when it comes to your county elections and your ability to go vote locally in your county, it matters. If you don't want to continuously see increases in your property taxes, especially if you live in a newer community and it's a up and coming community, that's when it's important for you to go out and vote on these different things that may affect your taxes. Now, if you want your children in the best schools, you want your children taught by the best teachers, your property taxes are going to reflect that. Again, it's important to vote in your, local elections and vote on things like new stadiums, whether or not you want that to, go up in your community, the new grocery store. Now, businesses do help with your property taxes because they also have to pay taxes. Yes, it's a good thing that your home value increases, but when your home value increases, guess what? Your property taxes also increase. So just be mindful of things like that when it comes to your property taxes. The next thing that I want to talk about are the small expenses, the things that we don't consider prior to purchasing our home. Landscaping. We don't think about landscaping because we're used to either being in an apartment or renting a house and not caring about the landscaping, just making sure that the grass is mowed. But when you are a homeowner, you want to make sure that your curb appeal looks good. You want your home to be appealing to anybody passing by. Therefore, you have to make sure the grass is cut, but not only the grass is cut, but you have to make sure that there's no weeds or no dry patches. You're fertilizing your grass. Now you gotta feed your grass, because this ain't no ordinary grass. You don't want your grass to die. You want your grass to be green. You want that curb appeal, and this is what it takes. You're either gonna have to pay somebody to come out and do the work, or you're gonna have to go to your local Lowe's, pick up you some pre-emergent, some fertilizer, some weed killer, all of that stuff. And although you don't have to do those things on a monthly basis, it is a consistent basis. It's a every year, every season thing that you have to do to ensure that your lawn is being taken care of, because you don't want your grass to die. You don't want to have to be paying for some new grass. So these are things that I didn't think about, like, oh, I'll just cut the grass, or I'll just pay somebody to cut the grass, but the grass is getting cut, but the grass ain't greening like I needed to green. So what's going on? So then I have to go and do my research, and now I find out I need a pre-emergent, I need some fertilizer, I need some weed killer, and I need to do this at this time of this month in this zone, because if I don't, then the weeds are going to take over. It's a lot. Of course, if you don't care about your landscape, guess what? If you live in an HOA, they going to care. And I know we have this love-hate relationship with HOAs. Trust me, when I first started shopping for my home, I was like, nope, don't want an HOA, don't want to live in an HOA. And look at me, in a HOA. But I can tell you that when I was shopping for a home, I could tell the houses that weren't in an HOA from the houses that were in an HOA. Not saying that all HOAs are perfect. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying in the areas that I looked in, I could tell. So as much as I can't stand when I get a notice, I understand it. And it does make me stay on top of stuff. I know I'm an adult and I shouldn't have to have anyone on me about doing things that I should be doing. But when it comes to like landscaping and stuff that I have really no interest in, it's kind of good to have somebody on me about it. So that's my relationship with HOA. Yes, I have gotten notices. I have not gotten a violation in the 2 years that I've been here, but I have gotten warnings to get stuff together. If you do live in an HOA, if you do purchase a house in an HOA, be on top of it. And that comes with anything landscape, any plants, any trees. If your tree die in your front yard, guess what? You're responsible for replacing it. And if you don't check the mail like me, you're going to have 2 days to replace a whole tree because you ain't checked the mail for a week. That's the stuff like that. And then just like your fencing, or making sure that it's staying, making sure that there's no broken fencing or anything falling over, because all of it falls on you. And HOA will make sure that you take care of it. It's a good and a bad when it comes to HOA. The bad is you gotta tell them every time you want to change something. You gotta write up a whole notice about what you want to change, how you want to change it, what it's gonna look like. Send me a picture before you change it. And that does get annoying for a property that you feel like you're purchasing and that you own. You shouldn't have to ask permission to do things, but unfortunately, when you live in an HOA, that's how it is. And they may not approve it. You may have put all this work in, wrote a 5-page essay for them to approve a new door or something. And they'd be like, nope, not approved. And it's just like, why I can't get this door? This is my house. I pay the mortgage, you know? Love-hate relationship with HOA. Landscaping expenses, HOA expenses that you might inquire if you do not do what you got to do to take care and make sure you're upkeeping your property. Property taxes, another expense. So all of these are expenses that you're probably not thinking about in the beginning, but will come about if you don't handle up. Property taxes are inevitable. Another thing is home insurance, homeowners insurance. You just shop around for it. Shop around, make sure you're getting a good price, making sure that you're covered. That's the most important thing. I know we always looking for a cheaper price, but making sure that your deductible is affordable and that your coverage matches your home value, because your home value is changing. My home value increased so much from when I purchased it, and I have to make sure that my insurance is up to date with what my home is valued it, because if something happens to my home and my insurance saying it's only worth $150,000 but it's really worth $200,000, then that's a problem, because where that other $50,000 gonna come from if something happens to my home and the materials and things need to be bought to replace my home. So always stay up to date on your coverages, making sure that your home is covered at its full value, and making sure that your deductible is affordable, and making sure you save your deductible in a bank account in the case you need it. Also, sticking to the insurance side, make sure your appliances are insured. Make sure you have insurance on your furnace, on your AC unit, on your refrigerator, your stove, all of these things cost money to replace. You don't have a maintenance man that you can call like you did in the apartment to come fix or replace any items. It's all on you. Now, a refrigerator and a stove may be a little more obtainable, but who wants to go out and buy a brand new AC unit? Not I. So look into home insurance for your appliances. This is separate from your homeowner's insurance. We're talking about home insurance for your appliances if they break down, not if something happens to your home and they're destroyed while your home is destroyed. That's what your home insurance is for. But appliance insurance is separate. It's for breakdowns, it's for stop working, it's for, you know, my AC just went out, I need a new one. That type of insurance where you don't have to come fully out of pocket, even if you have to come out some. It shouldn't be as much as you not having that insurance and having to take care of it all. So definitely look into that. See if your current insurance provider has that and you can add it to your policy. But a lot of times some insurance companies do not offer that with homeowners insurance, and you have to get a third party company or a separate policy specifically for your appliances. Also, while we're on appliances, making sure you're cleaning and changing out vents and just taking care of your appliances, making sure you're changing the filter on your refrigerator. If you have, you know, the ice maker in the water, you have to purchase filters once the time is up for those. Those are expenses that I didn't think about. A filter, yeah, it's not a lot, but over time it adds up. You know, it's money still being spent. Your AC unit has their filters that need to be changed every 3 to 6 months, depending on if you live in a new construction, and debris is crazy around here, so you're having to change them a little more often. And they're not $20, they're $40 to $50, $60 to change out those air vents. So again, stuff that you have to pay for that you may not think about in the beginning. So look, I'm trying to put y'all on game. Don't say I did not warn y'all. Don't say I didn't tell y'all, because I did. And while we're at it, you guys, when you're going into home ownership, don't look for everything in your first home. Do not think that you're going to get your dream home in your first home, because honestly, you may think you know what you want, but then you purchase this home and you realize it's not everything that you wanted. Most of the time it's because you've never actually owned a home, so you don't really know what you want. This is my first time being in a house. My first home was my first house lived in that I lived in on my own. So a lot of stuff I didn't think about. I didn't think about the brick color. I didn't think about where my windows were, on what wall my windows would be on, where my bathroom would be, where this, like, a lot of things I didn't think about in my first home that I now know I want in my dream home or my forever home. And I'm still adding to that list every single day. And I've been in my home for 2 years, and there's still things that I'm figuring out. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I like this. Oh, in this home, I want this. So buy your first home as if you're going to pass it on to someone who's also looking to purchase their first home. That's how I kind of went into this home. I looked at the backyard, I looked at the front yard, and I pictured kids playing in this 4-bedroom home, having their own rooms. And for me, I may not sell this home. This may just be a rental property for me in the future, but I still have to consider what someone else would want in their first home, or just a home, period, whether it's their first home or not. If they're renting and they want their family to be comfortable, I had to consider those things. So I hope this video served you guys well. I hope you guys, learn some stuff that you may have not thought about if you guys ever purchase a new home. But they give you like a 6-month checklist. They give you a yearly checklist that you can go through and check off to make sure you're upkeeping your home. Even with like watering your lawn, I should have mentioned this earlier. I didn't do these things in an apartment, or I didn't see my parents do these things in a rental home, but I know it's important in my home to make sure that I'm watering my grass, making sure I'm watering my foundation, because in Texas it's super hot. So you want to make sure you're taking care of your foundation and keeping it watered when necessary, so that your soil is not pulling away from the foundation. So these are just little things that, you know, it's something to think about, because that water bill is going to look a lot different from that apartment. Trust me, all your bills are going to look a lot different from what you experienced in your apartment. And you just have to be prepared for it through budgeting. Make sure you guys have a budget and it's effective and you're thinking about every little thing. Don't think you're overdoing it. Think about every little thing, from how much you think you're going to water your grass this month to the next month. How much you think you're going to spend on fertilizer this month and may not have to buy fertilizer for another 6 months. These are things you have to consider. Do I need an air filter this month, or am I going to wait until next month? So all in all, I hope I offered you guys some good advice and some tips that I've learned along the way through my homeownership journey. And hopefully it will help you guys along your journey. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys have any additional tips. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.